You make it to the league, right? What was that welcome to the NFL moment like for you?
Adrian Peterson's party bus. We went out in Minneapolis for his birthday one night.
And they invited the kicker?
They invited the kicker.
You got to be a cool ass kicker.
I was the only white guy in the club, I think. But it was a fun night, and it was guys playing dice and card games and stuff like that, which I hadn't. Tavares Jackson was
shout out to
R.I.P.
Yeah.
I remember him playing games with amounts of money that I was like, holy smokes, like.
What's up, everybody? I'm Peanut Tillman, and this is the NFL Players Second Acts podcast. And with me, as always, my trusty co-host, Roman Hopper.
What?
That was my New York, my Hopper.
I hear it. I got it. Thank you.
Don't do it again.
No, it's all good. Look, man, I'm really excited about our next guest. Competed against this man for many years, couple times, and never seemed like they always won. So really excited to hear about everything that he's doing.
Yeah, well, he was a kicker for 13 seasons in the NFL. He's a Super Bowl winning champion. He has set numerous records with the Seattle Seahawks, and now he is a performance coach. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the pod, Stephen Hauschka. How about that intro?
That was great.
Right?
Great energy.
Cool. I'm always trying to get better. Sometimes
10 out of 10.
Oh, man.
10 out of 10.
10 out of 10.
That's the first ever.
Nobody's ever gave like all 10.
Let's do it twice.
That was good.
No, but thank you for coming on the pod, man. We appreciate you driving down and just blessing us with your time, man. Really looking forward to just asking you some questions and talking to you. This is gonna be dope. I have a good feeling.
It was. I got to know this about your game, because when you kicked, you were always very slow on the approach.
Yeah.
Like very slow.
Well, I was always slow. That's why I got into kicking in the first place. I was playing soccer in high school and college and was too slow to go to the next level, basically. I played JV soccer my freshman year of college, and I saw the writing on the wall. The coach only wanted his recruits, and all my buddies were football players, and I was like, I think I'm going to try kicking footballs. So at 19 years old, I put on pads for the first time.
Really?
Yeah, but I was kind of like, had a golfer's mentality. Was good at like ping pong, golf, those types of things. And
all the stuff special teamers are already good at. Yeah.
Yeah. All the, I couldn't run and jump fast. So I was like, well, I can kick the ball really well. So let's try that.
Well, great idea. So we were doing research, and we were told that, so once you graduated Middlebury, you decide to transfer and go to NC State. But did you skip out on the opportunity to go to dental school?
Yes.
To choose football?
Yeah. Good catch. Yeah.
Yes.
So I was a neuroscience major. I was studying, and I was.
Look at the big brain on you.
I know. Wasn't recruited for anything my entire life. Seriously. And just, so that kind of drove me down, deep down, because I was like, man, I think I can get good at this. I never expected any handouts or anything like that. So I worked at it. And then I kind of reached a fork in the road. I was 22, 23. I graduated Middlebury, and I had one year at NC State as a graduate transfer. I was in the Parks, Rec, and Tourism Management department there as a little side journey. And I was into I had a chance to go to dental schools or go play professional football. And I think it was a pretty clear choice. But yeah, it was an interesting time in my life for sure.
How'd that conversation go with your parents?
Yeah.
Like the people in
my
your
mom
corner.
my mom was a dentist. My brother was a dentist. My dad taught at a dental school. You know how those family things are. I think they were happy about it. They wanted to see something new and exciting coming. Dentistry felt pretty predictable.
You got good teeth.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate it.
All right, so you make it to the league, right? What was that welcome to the NFL moment like for you?
Adrian Peterson's party bus. We went out in Minneapolis for his birthday one night.
And they invited the kicker?
They invited the kicker.
You got to be a cool ass kicker.
I was on the Gosh, I wasn't even, this was in the off season, but I don't know. I was just tight with the guys. I didn't have any other stuff going on. It's just like, let's go out, let's have fun. Man, I was the only white guy in the club, I think. But it was a fun night, and it was I immersed myself in it, you know?
Yeah.
It was fun.
So to see the amount of money spent, the way things were going, NFL, yeah, it was probably like that is a great
It's like
welcome to the NFL moment. Everybody always talks about football. Like, I love that this is your like, man, this is different.
This is the first.
Yeah, well, the culture thing too. Growing up in Boston, going to college in Vermont, you know, there wasn't a lot of diversity, and then to just be in a total different environment, you know, guys playing dice and card games and stuff like that, which I hadn't. You know, Tavares Jackson was
shout out to
R.I.P.
Yeah,
I remember him playing games with amounts of money that I was like, holy smokes, like. But it was a great experience. I learned a lot from the veterans, and I'm fortunate that I got to keep playing, because it's tough for those young guys. You come in and you're so like enamored and just blown away by everything that's happening in the league, and you see all the fancy cars, you see all the stuff, but you don't really see all the work they put into it.
Yeah.
And you know, a lot of guys' careers get cut so short because they never really get to that place where they can really lock in and work, you know, and get better.
So, let's talk about your experience with that. You had early struggles in your career early on, before your career finally took off in Seattle, where you really made your way.
I bounced around a little bit early on. I was on the Ravens, and, you know, I was the guy there. I missed a kick against the Vikings, actually, at the end of the game, and it stung. I had a hard time coming back from it. They just kind of gave up on me a little early, I thought, but looking back, I needed to go through that. I was trying to please coaches, and like I was trying to make my swing look a certain way for them. I was trying to please them, and kind of in that transition, when I bounced around, I realized, oh, like, I don't care what it looks like. I'm going to go out there and just like get the ball through the uprights. Like, I'm going to swing my swing. And I just found this like deep confidence in myself. It's like, I'm going to find a way to do this. And I know when that next opportunity comes, I'm going to make it happen. Kind of sent me on this deeper journey. And then when I got into Seattle, like the culture when I walked in that building was so different than anything I experienced. Like,
what was it?
Well, first off, there was so much juice in the room. Like, the energy of the locker room, the meeting room, guys were just like laughing, talking trash, like calling out plays. Like, when coach was playing film, they'd be like calling out, and they're like tips and overthrows. You know, we watched a ton of film of you because coach was a big like punch out guy. Yeah. And we watched like every week we watched you. You were a big part of Coach Carroll's culture, believe it or not, because you were unbelievable, you know, and for the listeners who don't understand, like, you were one of the best in the world at punching the ball out, no matter the situation. And coach wanted us to do that. So he was always showing highlights. He was showing like the team, what they were capable of becoming. And he reinforced that over and over and over again. Like, he had this vision for the team, and he had this vision for each one of us as players of what we could become. And he would like try to talk to that and prop us up to that. He would not show mistakes. He would not, if there were problems, he would like brush them under the rug. And it was so different. But for me, like, you know, I think we all have a negative bias sometimes. Mm-hmm. And to live in that environment where everything was so positive, so encouraging, like, I found my best, you know, mindset there. And like the daily messages were so helpful to my performance.
Yeah.
And when you look around the room, like, you know, Marshawn, Russell Wilson, Earl Thomas, Cam Chancellor, like Bobby Wagner, I'm probably missing a couple. Those guys all played the best of their whole career in Seattle during that time period. And I don't think it's a coincidence.
You said your struggles were because you were trying to make your swing.
I was going to get there.
Like
what's a swing?
Yeah, like he's talking about his leg swing, I assume. But like Like, describe that for those that don't understand, that have never kicked, like myself. Like,
You've played golf though, right?
Oh yeah, of course I do.
So you know when you work with an instructor on the, you know, and you get it dialed in with the instructor, but then a day later when you're on your own or when you're under pressure, it's like, well, you know, you got to get the ball onto the green, or you got to get it through the uprights. Are you going to do that thing that like you could replicate a couple times out of 10, or are you going to do the thing that you know you could do and it doesn't look perfect, but you know you could do it? You know, somebody could be holding a gun to your head and like, I can make it happen right now with that swing. So I always felt like I'd rather, if I had two options, like perfect technique or do it with full confidence and trust, I'd rather take the poor technique swing with full confidence and trust under pressure.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of the direction I went in. And it was a more natural swing. It wasn't necessarily perfect, but it was.
When you say perfect or natural, like what was so different in between? Like can you describe what the...
Yeah, the actual swing mechanics, a lot like golf. I mean, it was like trying to swing up and through the ball more, you know, keep my head down, close my left arm, all these things. And they were all good in theory, but as a young kicker, you know, when you're focused on technique and really it's more of a game of nerves, you know, I just found like my body's going to feel pressure out there. Like there's no way around it. In these high pressure environments, like fear is going to come up. It's how we're wired. We have this amygdala that scans the environment for threats. And when you're out there in front of 70,000 people and your job's on the line, you know, the whole city is going to like love you or hate you on those moments. There's a lot of stuff coming up. And so like, I just found, okay, confident swing. Like if I can just focus on, you know, having a confident swing and hitting that one spot on the ball, you know, the rest I just like put blinders on. I wouldn't worry too much about my swing mechanics in the moment.
Yeah. So you go out and you have this amazing career in Seattle. You win a Super Bowl. You're done playing football. You get into the health and human performance space. What made you want to get into that?
I don't know. You guys know what it's like when you're done.
Yeah.
I was lost.
Yeah.
You know, I was lost. I was struggling like, man, I want to play football, but I don't. Like, what else is there? And I wanted to learn. And so this master's degree was a great way for me to learn about, you know, physiology, the psychology of performance. And it was just a nice holistic blend of ways, you know, to up-level myself, because it's really challenging when you retire because you realize you're years behind everybody else in their careers. Mm-hmm. Like we have all this experience, but the experience only matters if you can convert it into something that's useful. Mm-hmm. And so, yeah, just started this journey. I'm really glad I did it. It was a kick in the ass because my brain wasn't working like it was in college, and I had to get it going again. And yeah, I'm thankful. And then I linked up with Michael Gervais, performance psychologist, PhD. He helped Coach Carroll build the culture there, and he's worked with a lot of top executives like Satya Nadella at Microsoft, helped them build culture. And we teamed up this past year and started working with the Seattle Seahawks and helping them build culture with their new head coach, Mike McDonald.
Worked out for him.
So that's been really fun to team up with him and kind of pour my energy into something that I know is a competitive advantage in football, just because we kind of take on the collective mindset of the organization, like whether we like it or not. You know, if you're in a culture, you guys, how many different teams do you guys play on?
Two.
Same. And so I played on like 7 or 8. So I saw a little more variation, but you know, the difference between the best coaches I played for and the worst was like night and day. We had a coach once the night before the game, like tell us that we weren't good enough, that like the opponent was too great a match for us. And that he basically subconsciously told us we were going to lose.
Yeah.
And I remember looking around. I was like, I the only one who noticed that? Like, did he really just say that? And like, great pep talk, coach. Like, of course we lost. Of course we lost. And, the night before the Super Bowl, Coach Carroll stood in front of us, like the energy. We just played this, we just like did a free throw shooting competition. Guys were so loose. It was alive. Like the room was electric. And coach he looked at us and he said, like, you guys are ready. Like, trust yourselves. I can't wait to watch you go fly around tomorrow. It's going to be awesome. Like before the biggest game of our lives, he didn't talk about, what could go wrong or the opponent. He framed the biggest game of our lives as an opportunity and something to be excited about. And it just, like the contrast of those two things created such a big impression on me that's why I'm doing the work now.
It's been really interesting just hearing because I'm a big person. Peanut knows this. I'm a words matter person. So the way that you use certain words when I'm listening to you, it's like, one way to get rid of anxiety is to have appreciation.
Yes.
Right? So you're like more in tune or looking at things as an opportunity.
Yes.
So like these words, in my opinion, when I hear you say this, I'm like, I totally get it. I love it. But I want to let you tell our viewers and listeners about what you're doing, because a lot of people say, oh, it's a mental coach. That is not what you use. I think words matter again. You are considered a mindset coach.
Yeah.
And finding mastery is the name of you guys' business. And so describe that. Tell them why you use those words specifically.
I don't love labels because I don't, there's a lot of like performance coaches, mindset coaches out there, and I don't even know exactly what I'm doing. I don't want to label myself that, but I'm just bringing the perspective of somebody who played at the highest level under the highest pressure and navigated those emotional battles, those mental battles. And like, there were moments where, I was down here and I had to pull myself. Like, gosh, there was times after games where have a tough game, tough miss. And, it's hard enough that you let your teammates down. It's hard enough that the city hates you, but like, I remember just having to like pull myself out of bed and like get the inner strength to go into the building and to have the team meeting and to have the film come up, and just, it builds a lot of courage. It builds a lot of strength. And like self-compassion was there for me, through a lot of those tough moments, because I don't think people realize how challenging the game is emotionally, because we care so much.
Mm-hmm.
We care so much, and it can't always go the way you want it to go. It just doesn't work that way.
How much do you think pouring into the Seattle Seahawks team last year, how much do you think it actually helped as far as their success? I mean, it was a great year. I mean, like, you can't even deny it. They were one of the best teams. And then the way they performed in the playoffs and in the Super Bowl was outstanding.
We helped the head coach create his vision. It wasn't our vision. We didn't hand him anything. But a lot of the work we did was pulling out of him like his best ideas, his best thinking, and then organizing it and putting it into a culture model that he could teach to the team.
Yeah.
And we made it visual too. We worked with a designer and made a sweet graphic. And he taught from that. He installed that in training camp, and he did walk and talks and like got groups of 6-7 guys together with a coach, and they talked about real life questions. Like throughout the season, that was one of the biggest things that the team did to connect, to come together. And these were not in position groups. These were cross positional groups with vets, young guys, different groups, and they would rotate every week. So it was like a melting pot. Everybody got to know each other, and they talk, everybody talks about, a great team. Well, what do you have to do? You have to be great teammates. In order to be great teammates, you have to know people. You have to know each other. You can't be a great teammate if you don't know them. And so, it was one of the top pillars of their, the driving vision of that culture is 12 as one, which is like, we are all connected. We are all part of this. And they really invested in relationships. And, you know, when you talk to the team, like, they'll be the first ones to say, like, this was a special group. And it's because we had all those relationships. And just like the energy and the culture, I think it really drove them.
Yeah.
And the coach will be the first one to admit it too. Like, he's the biggest proponent that, like, I think he was asked, you know, what were you most excited about? What was the best perk of winning the Super Bowl? Like, you know, he didn't say that he got to play golf at Augusta.
Did he?
Yeah. He didn't say that he got to meet X, Y, and Z celebrities or go on, you know, the late night talk shows. He said we get to defend our way of life. Like, our existence, you know, we can defend our existence. And what he meant by that was that the culture and the way that we do things in Seattle is justified now. And we get to lean in even more to that. Like, we know it works. We can go even further in that direction. And it just shows how much he cares about it and how much he believes in it.
I wish I'd have known that. I would have put the money on Seattle a lot.
Yeah.
If I'd been doing walking talks as a team
right.
and really come. That's amazing.
Isn't that crazy? But it's like, we thought it would be cheesy. Like, we thought it'd be cheesy. And then the guys ended up loving it.
Oh, yeah.
Isn't that wild?
It's wild.
Something like that. Like,
Yeah.
I would think that would be cheesy. They were talking about what it was like at the dinner table growing up. But, like, imagine a bunch of people from different backgrounds talking about what it's like growing up at the dinner table. Or, you know, what was your favorite memories from, you know, the holidays growing up? You know, and those were some of the lighter, you know, friendlier ones. But then there were ones about ball. There were ones about, like, you know, what do you wish you knew as a rookie that you know now? And it was a way for rookies and vets to kind of share insights. And
it kind of reminds you of Bertier. Why am I drawing a blank? The football movie, Denzel Washington. Somebody yell it. Remember the Titans?
yeah,
Kind of how they obviously was like black and white, whatever. But I want one white kid, one black kid. I want you guys to sit together, learn something about each other, kind of have a conversation, figure out what's what.
Yeah.
So it can bring them a little bit closer. That's kind of what it reminds me of. Just kind of listening to you say it right now. I'm like, okay, yeah.
Well, when you care, you're willing to go a little bit further for that person. When you actually
Absolutely.
care about them as a person,
Yeah.
not just as a team. I think.
And we talked about trust a lot. Like, so we worked with the leadership group and we talked about trust. And there's 3 research-backed components of trust, 3 legs of the stool. I learned this from Mike. There's benevolence, basically. Like, does that person know what's best for me? If so, I'm more likely to trust them. Competence, is that person competent? Do they have high skill level? And then the third is consistent. Are they consistent in their behaviors day in and day out?
Mm-hmm.
So if somebody, you know, you can think about people in your own life, you can think about teammates you've had over the years, like ones that you trust and ones that you don't. You can probably start to see patterns. Like, and at the core of that, if you have relationships with lots of people in the building, you start to develop trust because, oh, that person knows me, they understand me, they know what's best for me.
Yeah.
You know, that person's competent, you know, that person is consistent in how they show up every single day. I trust them. And it takes trust, it takes relationships to do something extraordinary.
I know when I played, I used to, a buddy of mine, he was kind of like my performance coach, mindset coach, or I know we're not doing labels, but he would call me every Saturday night and he would give me the score, SCRE, self-discipline, concentration, optimism, relax, and enjoyment. And he would describe each piece. You know, he'd use these acronyms and he would describe, you know, self-discipline, like, Peanut, you paid the price. Optimism, no negative self-talk. You got to think positive. Something's going to happen. That. So we would do that. You have something similar and it's called R.I.S E.
Yes.
Can you explain what R.I.S E is?
Yeah. So R.I.S E came from me being in the pressure cooker for 13 years as a kicker. Basically, when I went from soccer to football, it was such a unique transition to kick a football in front of, you know, at the time, there were more cows in the stadium than there were people, you know, like in Vermont. But all eyes were on me and everybody knew whether there was good or bad. And so, like, the fear that came up, I didn't know what to do with it at first. And like my very first game, I made my first kick, but then I missed the next 2 just because, like, I didn't know how to handle what was coming up. And so I realized like, gosh, I got to find a way to work with what's showing up because I really want to do this thing. And that kind of started the beginning of this journey. I just accepted basically in high pressure environments, fear was going to show up and like, there's no way around it. Because I tried running from it for a little while and then it would hijack me, and it would just like make you freeze. So I did this. I started basically working with it, knowing it was going to show up. And I do a lot of self-talk and this tapping technique too. It's called emotional freedom technique. And basically to release the fears that were coming up, like, and it could be anything. It could be like, I remember one game we were playing Adam Vinatieri and the Colts, and it brought up fear for me that we were going to play, like the greatest kicker of all time. And I want to have a good game. And like, but the mind's not always logical.
Right.
So like, who cares? Whatever it is, like I had concerns about it and it was bringing up kind of anxiety for me. So it's like, accept that and release it. So the RISE process is basically reflecting back on what it was I was doing. Basically, I was converting fear into focus and courage. And it's a 4-step process. Basically, you recognize what it is. So you call out the emotion that you're feeling. And there's a lot of evidence and research to show that one step alone takes something that's kind of like this foggy, nebulous thing that's holding weight over you. And now it gives you agency back, So like, what is the fear, like what is the fear or the anxiety or something? Well, it's like, oh, I want to have a good game against my childhood idol, that's just calling that out, like takes weight out of it. Or, there's a lot of wind and like the field conditions suck. Okay. Like, I can relax. And then it's, the next step is so invite compassion. It's like accepting that it's there, and then releasing, when you realize that it's there and you love yourself for having it and then love yourself for that natural emotion that shows up, like not trying to deny it. It's like, oh, I love myself for this. It's like, it's okay to have this. It's how we're wired as humans. And if you see that it's not serving you, you can start to release it. And then you're kind of in a clean slate, from which you can build like the way that you want to feel. And so S is strengthen the mindset, and it's basically trying to embody courage or whatever it feels like to be at your very best. And so for me, that was a lot of self-talk, trying to build up my confidence, my belief in myself, my trust in myself. And then the last part of it, so right then after that step, you kind of feel like I could run through a wall, man. Like I feel amazing. And you guys have, I'm sure, done a ton of self-talk. Most people don't do the first 2 steps. A lot of people just start on like the 3rd step there and like, this is how I want to feel, like self-talk. Let's do it. I just found like if I cleared out the fear and that stuff, then I was on a more stable surface to build the foundation of how I wanted to feel. And then the last step is embrace the opportunity. With every challenge, there's a moment of uncertainty. Like you don't know what's going to happen. And that embracing opportunity is about like going for it regardless and just like loving that opportunity right in front of you rather than like fearing it. And so it's a final moment of surrender of just like, I feel great. I'm just going to go for it.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was me all. I missed the first 2 steps, but I went straight into.
It's recognize the fear and invite compassion.
Yeah, I
So,
never
like, recognizing.
I
what
never
emotion is
recognized my
coming up.
fear. I just went into like, no, I gotta have a good game. Here's what I'm gonna do. I know Randy Moss, who the receiver's gonna do this. Nope. And when I would have a negative thought, I would replace it with a positive thought of some sort, and I would just say that over and over, and then I would close my eyes and then imagine me doing the thing, whatever I was, something positive, something, a pick, an interception, a forced fumble or whatever. So yeah, a lot of the forced fumbles come from the positive self-talk.
So like I would embody this the night before the game. I would like get into this mindset and then I do some visualization and same thing the morning of during that game. But what I I think I realized like it's a little bit deeper. Like it was high performance is actually this emotional battle between love and fear.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, the fear that was coming up, like, well, what if I love, you know, instead of fearing like what's out there, what if I just like love it? And so the more I could get into that loving state of like loving the challenge, loving the moment, loving myself, you know, that was the foundational energy that really like helped free me up, you know, towards the second half of my career.
You have you have a record in the NFL, most 50 yards, kicks made consecutively. Aubrey just tied it. This guy's a machine too. This guy's
oh yeah, he's unbelievable.
He's unbelievable.
He's not you. He's not you. This is about you.
This guy's crazy.
You and your flowers only.
Yeah, but sorry, the position kicker, the most pressurized position in the league in football.
I think quarterback feels it, but they have so many plays.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Like,
they have so many plays.
And when you miss, we're like, bro, you only got one job.
I think golfer, but they're on their own.
Yeah.
And pitcher, goalie, you know, but it's one of the most unique ones because your only job is to do that.
Yeah.
You know, like you guys are incredibly athletic and I'm not. There's so many different reasons why it is unique. But like I said, I think I didn't care what it looked like or what I had to do. Like if I felt it worked and helped solve that problem of pressure, then I was going to do it. When
coaches call timeouts right before you get ready to go
for young kickers, and
they do that timeout. They get ready. Time.
Does icing the kicker?
It works on young kickers. Well, put it this way: in my perspective, it worked on me as a young kicker. I think it helped me as a veteran kicker.
Yeah.
As a veteran kicker, you know, you're so good at your routines. You're so good at grounding yourself, no matter the situation. A little extra time might be just what you need to get into the right mindset.
In like 10 seconds, walk me through it. The ball is snapped. What are you kind of telling yourself?
On the sideline, there's a whole mental thing going on to keep you in the rhythm of the game.
Okay.
So when the defense is out on the field, like I'm at one end of the bench, just like breathing, relaxing, like having fun conversations. When our offense gets the ball, like now it's time to lock in because you can't stay locked in the whole game.
Right. So
I'm kicking into the net. Okay. Field goal. So first thing is like, you don't want to be like, you want to be like, yeah, let's go. So like the self-talk and the feeling, you're trying to embody a feeling of being super confident, like you can do anything. And the self-talk to me just helped point me in the right direction of that feeling. And so as I'm jogging out on the field, like I'm feeling like when I was at my best, like I felt like so confident, like strong, and trusting in myself. So as I'm jogging out there, and then I get to the spot, choose my target, take my steps back. And as I'm taking my steps back and over, I'm saying confident swing. So it's really just like I gave myself one thing that I was allowed to say to myself. Occasionally it was a technical thought, but most of the time it was something about, sometimes in my career it was like relax, swing smooth. So I gave myself one thing.
Okay.
But that was kind of, sometimes I wasn't thinking out there at all.
Which is good too.
You're just reacting. You're just
so there's three, there's positive mind and negative mind, and then there's no mind. No mind is like no thoughts. So we're actually in our best performance states when we're in no mind.
Yeah.
But like when you're in negative mind, like you can't access no mind.
Right.
So I try to stay in positive mind, to block out the negative mind.
Mm-hmm.
And then occasionally I'd slip into no mind.
Yeah. All right. Last question. Mount Rushmore. You get 4 people that have helped you, and that shaped you into the person you are today. Who would those 4 people be?
I have to say mom and dad. I got to
yeah.
Mom, dad, love you both. Thank you for everything. They were huge. My dad you know, they were very hard workers. My mom was a dentist. My dad is a scientist. My dad actually tried out for the Cowboys in the 60s. So that was like a cool story.
What position was he going to play?
Like he was a punter kicker.
Okay, nice.
Yeah. So I grew up with that story. It's probably why I ended up being a kicker anyway.
Okay.
Because deep down I knew like, oh, my dad almost did that. Like I want to try to do that. Both really hardworking parents and, you know, supported me really well growing up.
Yeah.
And then my wife,
What's her name?
Lindsay.
Okay.
Lindsay is an incredible human being. And she's been through all of it with me. We met in college.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just so thankful for her because especially these last few years, like when you're those first couple of years of retirement, I was totally lost. And
yeah,
a lot of stuff coming up. We were both kind of sorting through the identity transition process of no longer playing football. Really challenging. I understand, like for all those people out there who judge athletes, like, you know, you made so much money. How could you do all those things with it and blow it all? And I get it. Really freaking hard. It's been the hardest few years of my life.
Yeah.
I wouldn't trade it for anything. It's super valuable and it's like shaped who I've become, but some of the hardest few years of my life. And I owe my wife everything for being there.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
And I'm going to say my kicking coach back at Middlebury College, Steve Wolf, Rutland, Vermont, he would drive up an hour to work with me. I don't think he was paid that much. He just loved coaching kickers for some reason. He was a kicker at one point, and he at Middlebury College, you know, like I said, cow pastures. You know, there's nobody's ever played professional football there. Actually, one guy did in the 70s, but he planted this idea in my head early on. He's like, you can play professional football. Before I even played one season there, when he saw me kick in training camp, my first year there, I'd never kicked a football before. And he was teaching me how to do it. He's like, you can play professional football. And that planted this seed in my mind. And, you know, it was really special for somebody who knew who really knew kicking to plant that in me. And I thank him for that every day.
That's awesome.
Can I give you a little quick story too?
Absolutely.
Okay, so, you know, we've been talking about mindset and visualization, all this stuff. So Coach Carroll would show guys punching stuff out every week, and maybe 15 minutes a week of like, you know, interceptions, strips, like punching out, stuff like that. After 3-4 years of that stuff started to like wash over. I mean, I was just a kicker. I'm sitting in those meetings, seeing that stuff like all the time. I'm never in those situations. But then 2 times in my career, I had punch outs. Like I was just all of a sudden in this situation. I'm just like, punch it out. Never practice it. And I had 2 punch outs, one on Cordarrelle Patterson.
Yeah.
And one against the Eagles. And we recovered one of them. The other one, Cordarrelle got back, but I owe it to like Coach and then your inspirational punch outs.
The best story, the best punch out I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah.
I didn't know.
Special. That's what I'm saying. I'm sitting here
but I'm just saying,
kickers. Like, that is awesome.
You're like, dude, I didn't even know what I was doing.
I didn't know what I was doing. All of a sudden,
did you ever practice it in practice?
Never practice it.
Oh my God.
He was like, it was so just there, and I was just like,
oh, you got to give me some of that. That's awesome.
Yeah. But even like Byron Maxwell, I was just watching Byron Maxwell like got really good at it. I thought Walter, but we had a bunch of guys trying to copy what you were doing, and
you guys they were really good at it.
That's awesome. Thank you for sharing that, man.
Yeah.
That's the best story today.
That'll definitely get clipped out. So we're gonna have that. That right there is going up on the reels. Trust me.
Yes.
We'll look that up.
Good stuff. Well, thank you guys.
Appreciate you for coming, man.
Yeah,
thank you.
Pleasure.
I've been writing. You have been. I'm
definitely going to take.
I'm going back to my kids with all of this.
Yeah,
stuff.
the positive and negative mindset's awesome, especially because the positive mindset can lead to the no mind mindset, which is actually the best place to be. Yeah, when you're not thinking, you're just playing. Which is exactly all the things my dad told me when I was young. Like, why are you thinking? You just got to go. You just got to play. And so, no, I really appreciate it. You know, I told you I was a words matter guy.
Yes.
And so giving me the words.
Hey, we can always be learning, right?
Yes.
Each one of us has something to share. And, one other piece that I think is of note, you mentioned your kids, but there's so much that we can be doing as athletes too in the youth sports space. Cause I feel like youth sports is taking on the pressure that professional athletes face. These kids are in this pressure cooker of youth sports because like the expectations are higher, but they're just kids.
Yeah.
And yeah, I have a vision of helping that space a lot too, just to kind of bring some of this mindset stuff to the parents, to the coaches, and to the athletes of youth sports.
Well, it'll happen, dude. Keep doing your thing. I mean,
appreciate it. Absolutely.
You guys just won a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Somebody's buying what you're selling.
Yeah.
You got some clout.
Yeah. So, hey, look, thank you to all of our viewers and listeners out there, wherever you pick up your podcast, whether it's Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio app. Make sure you always continue to tune in. Tell a friend to do what, Peanut?
Tell a friend.
Yes, man. Check us out. Like, share.
Share.
I do that every time.
Like, share, subscribe.
There we go.
Follow.
Leave a couple comments. Please do that. And you can also check us out on the NFL's YouTube channel. Go ahead, Peanut.
Hey, y'all, I'm Peanut. That's Roman. And this is Steven, man. Thank y'all for tuning in. And this is the NFL Players Second Acts Podcast. We out.